in today's video, I should bring some sort of overlap from the last video. If you remember from my earlier videos on map of mind and how mind works, as well as atomic habits, I had clearly emphasized there that learning is something which helps in your brain health. When you learn something, it helps in releasing certain happy hormones, which is called dopamine, and that is what causes you to kind of look forward to learning something new. Beginning, it is like coming out of your comfort zone, but as you continue learning and you start enjoying the activity, you start having a rush of hormone, which is dopamine, and that causes you to kind of get addicted to learning. So it's a matter of time. If you start taking small steps every day, try to pick something new. Have you ever thought of learning guitar or some musical instrument? Or there was a time where you wanted to perhaps try something new to learn, maybe cooking. In some cases we all try and learn something cooking, but we give up because the first time it did not work out. So if that was the case in your life also, because I have experienced the same, whenever I try something new, I feel very happy. You try and do something in home which you have never done. You try and do certain activities which you never touched. Try to contribute doing smaller things, maybe helping in kitchen, something which you have not done. So your brain will consider this something new, and it will consider it as a learning. And during learning, I'll tell you, how brain feels happy and start generating new brain cells. So it is very, very important that every day we try and strive to learn something new. How small, how big it is, it's not important, but it is always that provide your brain. You have so many patterns, you keep doing the same things, you feel comfortable. Like, you must have seen, sometimes you're driving from your home to office and you reach to office without realizing that you had seen anything on the road. You don't remember, because that driving, that route, everything is recorded already in your subconscious mind. So you don't feel like being conscious. Your brain already providing your senses everything. And even if you are thinking something else in your conscious mind, which is very small part of it, your subconscious mind will take you to your destination. So this is how happens in other activities daily, as I mentioned earlier, that we start our day in sleepwalk, and we try and end up our day in sleepwalk. We don't get time for ourselves. I think by learning, you are forcing your brain to be consciously present in every activity you are trying to do. The goal of learning is to bring awareness for your life. When you try and do something new where there is no pattern recorded in your brain, you do it very carefully. You bring your entire awareness, you bring your entire knowledge, attention to that particular activity. That is where your brain, your body feels very good. Since your brain is getting now newer information, your brain is something, I will mention a phenomena which is called neuroplasticity, which helps to exercise your brain and make new brain cells. Neuroplasticity is a phenomena of the brain where when you learn something new, the brain's ability to modify, change and adapt both structure and function throughout life and response to experiences. So in a way, if I say that if you want to expand your brain learning, you want to help your brain in creating newer brain cells and strengthening the connection between the brain cells, it is very important that you learn something every day, because that is the only way you can make sure that your brain exercises. Just give an example, like when you go to gym, you run, you are making your calf muscles when you're running, or you're going to gym or doing yoga, you are trying to make your muscles exercise, your body sweat. Similarly, what is there for brain? If you just parallel the same way, your brain needs also exercise, and the only way to exercise brain is trying to do newer things, learn new things that will help them making new brain cells. You can easily bring more awareness to your life in whatever you do. Due to aging issues, a lot of Alzheimer's, lot of inflammation of brains, I think you can minimize that and in fact eradicate if you continuously exercise your brain and help making new brain cells by learning new things, I think you can delay or avoid those diseases as well, like Alzheimer's. When I say learning is important, it does not mean you learn a subject. It does not mean you have to learn a large skill. You can do small things, as I mentioned in my last videos, where I was focusing mainly on you can do many side hustles. You can pick any one of those. That is a learning. If you try to do editing, you learn editing for Fiverr, to make some side income. You can use those learnings to exercise your brain. At the same time, using those skills, you can also start earning money. So it is a double benefit. So you are learning new things, you are helping your brain health. At the same time, you are also trying to make sure that you are able to create some side hustle. That's what I say. These things go in hand. I always try to recommend things which complement each other. So learning habit will also help you make some money, and it will overall help you in holistic health. And that's where it comes. I always say holistic health is nothing. You have to take care of financial freedom, you have to take care of your mental health, you have to take care of physical health, and you have to take care of your spiritual health. So it's a combination. My focus is on focusing on each of these 4 Qs. That's what I always say. What are the benefits of learning? In most cases, you can practice your hobbies, or if you have some hobby or desire to develop something into a hobby, like learning a musical instrument, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, or something else, there is a high chance you will meet new people. When you meet new people, human relationships are built. Having human connections, human relationships is always very, very important for your mental health, for your spiritual well-being, for your social well-being. So it is the key that when you go for learning, at times you can do it at home, but suppose you go to a gym, you go to a school which teaches you certain instrument, you go out and you make new connections, you meet new people. Next point, which is very, very important related to learning, is this I have also mentioned in Maslow's law of hierarchy of needs video, how physical well-being is important before we can go to spiritual well-being. What is physical well-being? Ideally, as a humans, we all have desires to get an identity for ourselves. Identity means which is not something which is forced on us. Somebody wanted to be a writer, somebody wanted to be a doctor, somebody wanted to be an engineer. Because of multiple reasons, it could be because our family wanted to do certain things, the conditions, we did not have enough money in the childhood. There could be many reasons that we could not realize those identities for ourselves. Some of them were minor, some of them were hobbies, but still those were important. Those were things which we wanted to do. But somehow, because of various social needs, physical needs, as we call that, life is driven in the initial years by physical needs, we could not achieve that. We could not create, suppose, an identity which we always wanted to. This is a time you can start thinking about what you wanted to be and start learning those skills. It's never late. And even though it could be a very small skill, if you do it, come out of your comfort zone and try to learn it, it gives you a creative satisfaction. It gives you a feeling that this is something which you wanted to do. This is something gives you an identity. We all require an identity, and our lives go sometimes, we keep doing things for others. We are sometimes trying to please somebody. We are trying to do certain things for some obligations, but it is very rare. The way we don't give time to ourselves, we also miss creating an identity which is driven by no cost benefit analysis, which is not related to profit and loss statement, which is identity which we wanted to do ourselves. So this is a time, through learning every day smaller things, you can create an identity for yourself. There is nothing more satisfying than a sense of achievement. Setting yourself a goal to learn something new, then achieving it is super rewarding. Trust me, I have done it. And it also gives you a sense of accomplishment. And as I mentioned in my last 2 videos on achieving financial independence, how to make money online, you can use some of these skills, hobbies, to learn and create a side income, benefit financially as well from your hobbies. And also you can create an identity. To write a book, you start making money by writing small scripts and start selling those on Fiverr. So you are doing parallelly many things which are not only helping you create an identity, plus at the same time also helping you make some income on the side. Last but not least, we all have been pushed out of our comfort zone for years due to the wants and needs of physical being. But getting out of your comfort zone is not a bad thing. Trust me. Moreover, if it is something we like and it is our choice, while learning something new may be challenging, it can also be heaps of fun. Most people won't be good at something they haven't tried before. When they first start, it can be really tough, but also really enjoyable. When you get pushed out of your comfort zone, when you try something new, a sense of achievement, new identity, appreciation, satisfaction leads to secretion of good and happy hormones, mainly dopamine. If you read more about dopamine, and I think I have spent enough time in different videos about these happy hormones, dopamine is a kind of hormones which helps you to look forward to few things. Even in addictions, this is the addiction hormone. It is somebody, suppose trying to smoke, even before he actually smokes, the hormone starts releasing well before, just by anticipation of smoking. When you smoke, there is no secretion of dopamine, but it gets released early on. Similarly, any addiction, in anticipation, this hormone gets released. So imagine if you are gone into a routine where you are trying to learn every day something new. That way, imagine you'll be so happy because the dopamine levels will be high, because they are anticipating, yes, today something new, yes, evening something new. Every day you are blissful, you are having rush of dopamine release. That is how you will be motivated, because every day you're looking forward. That's where, can you imagine, in childhood, when you start certain activities, beginning, when you are pushed out of comfort zone, you don't feel like doing it because you don't know. Our brain as humans, we never want to go into unknowns. We don't know whether we'll be able to do it or not, whether we'll be successful in learning or not. But once we get into an activity and we start acquiring some skills, we feel motivated. That in the childhood, some sports, beginning we were hesitant, but once we start going there, we enjoy. So that's the beauty of dopamine. So if you make sure that you make a learning routine over a period of time, it will really help you would want to do that activity over and over again. That is why once you incorporate learning something new daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, it becomes like an addiction, and you want to learn again to have a dopamine rush. That is the beauty of starting to learn. I can vouch this from my own experience. While making these videos for the channel in last 2 months, I have learned so much, and I feel like a child learning something new and sharing it with you all more and more. I'm sure my dopamine levels are really high. I need to get tested due to this learning new things and information which I am getting for you. Now, after giving you overview, how learning can help, if I go to some of the specific things you can do in terms of learning, as I told you, you don't have to do things which are very large. You can start by doing small things, like take some puzzles. You can take cards, you can play cards, you can do some puzzles, you can do learning new spelling, cubes, you can do. And in problem solving games are amazing for your brain activity, because goal is that you want to turn and twist, you want to sweat your brain. That's the goal, because that is where it is going to help you out in making new brain cells. Any of these games which are causing your brain to think outside of the box where it has been doing in the years, it is breaking the pattern, it is always good. When you do these things, there are several reasons in brain. People have studies that how, when you are trying to do these games or trying to learn new things, how your different brain centers get activated. The major thing these games can improve is help you enhance your memory, and also it can bring you certain thinking skills like analytical skills. So what it is doing is, it is you're asking, there are different brain centers within your brain which are responsible for learning, which are responsible for storing things. So it's a very complex computer. So these different activities will activate those centers. They will improve your brain health. Second, which is very minimal, as I said, these are very small things. Build a vocabulary. Pick Oxford Dictionary, small one, and nowadays in Google, in your phone, make sure that every day you try and learn 4 to 5 new words. And then take those words and try to write down and make different small stories out of it, or maybe a small script, and then maybe try and sell that on Fiverr, as I said. So everything is related. You acquire new vocabulary, every day. Try to pick 3-4 words and try to use it. That will help your brain to do more and more retention in terms of a new database of things will be created within your brain. Third, which is very small, anatomy of your body. You want to understand how brain works. You can pick Amazon, you will get a brain anatomy book which you can bring certain colors and start curling and remembering that which part is the subconscious, which part is a certain part of the brain. So you will be able to learn the anatomy of brain. Similarly, physiology of your body. You want to understand more about heart, what are the different chambers of heart, how everything works. So you get that book and start coloring. So when you color something, you remember, which part of the brain is what, and you colored which, because our brain tends to remember these differentiated segments you create when you color a certain part. So it is helping your brain to acquire new information. Third, again, very, very surprising, and I knew, I myself used to dance and I still do that. You feel very, very blissful when you dance. You must have noticed, all of us have seen. Dancing is one activity which helps your heart and brain the most. This is where you are doing the cardio also, you are doing your body exercise also, and brain exercise also, everything together. You are sweating your body out, you are sweating your brain out. In the first video of how brain works and how our mind works, there are two major centers, subconscious mind and conscious mind. The conscious part of the brain, which is smaller, but that brings awareness to you. That is something not using information from the database. And the more we keep this active, more we remain present in today's moment. So the goal is, can we do something which will bring awareness to us? Another very small thing which is, at least I have been avoiding for ages because I don't enjoy driving, and I'm too dependent on Google Maps. But I think sometimes it is really good for your brain to get lost on the way. Don't have any maps, because when you go through the same, as I told you, it is the same concept. When you go to the same route, you are familiar with everything, your subconscious mind is driving and you reach to a destination without realizing you reached there, because your subconscious mind already has that map. And in addition to that, you are trying to use a Google map. You are trying to learn driving. When you first started driving, you remember how attentive you were. You were always like this with the instructor, you were so attentive on the road. As you start becoming comfortable, the driving things get recorded in your database, subconscious mind. You become more and more casual. You talk and drive. We rely too much on brain information, and that is where sometimes, you need somebody commits a mistake and your subconscious mind will give you information. It's a map, but your conscious brain is not there. You are talking and we have accidents, so it's very important that you be aware when you drive. And to bring awareness, when you go to a new road, suddenly your awareness will come back because you don't know the route, you don't have Google Maps. So you'll be more careful on those roads because you don't know where is the bend, where is the red light signal. So that's why going into new routes is very important. Again, it comes all over again. Meditation. I have given you information on this. I think I will do one more detailed video on self-reflection and meditation. So in a nutshell, please make a routine of learning something new every day. Learning will help your brain to make new brain cells. When you get aged, because of a lot of age-related problems nowadays, because of food and nutrition are also the reasons. Also, not using our brain, relying too much on recording 4 numbers. We hardly use our brain. That's a problem. So find ways to learn something new, which will give your brain some sweating, some exercise, and it will help you making newer brain cells and making newer interconnections between the cells in brains. Hope this video on learning gave you some newer perspective why learning is important for you, for your blissful living and holistic well-being. I would encourage, please make a routine. Write down 5 things you always wanted to do from childhood, which you wanted to learn and you could not do. Start from there. and then you can slowly start picking one by one and learn those things. Imagine, I'm sure you should give me feedback, the kind of feeling you will get. You can't express in words. I'm practicing my habits of writing, gathering information for YouTube video, reading certain books. Really, it helps me. You should start incorporating learnings into your daily routine. Hope this video added some value to you. Please let me know your feedback. See you in the next video on holistic